But have a look at Joe Biden's latest opinion figures here. I don't know if I've got them on the screen, but his latest polls suggest that most Democrats don't want Joe Biden to run in 2024. In fact, I think his approval rating is now, and this is according to the New York Times, down to something like 30%. So the question is, what's higher, Joe Biden's approval or the inflation rate of a sack of groceries in the United States?
I thought you were going to say what's higher, Joe Biden's popularity or his son.
No. What's higher, Joe?
I thought that's
Hunter.
where you were going. Yes.
But well, when Joe Biden said repeat the line, Hunter thought that meant something else. But let's have a little look. Do we have Joe Biden reacting to a reporter who's asking about this? Have a look. He's not happy.
Mr. President, what's your message to Democrats who don't want you to run again?
They want me to run.
2/3 say they don't.
Read the polls. Read the polls, Jack. You guys are all the same. That poll showed that 92% of Democrats, if I ran, would vote for me.
All right, guys, so despite Joe Biden's delusions, it has become clear that not only does the Democrat voter base want to replace Joe Biden, but I believe that the Democrat Party wants to replace Joe Biden as well. As I did a video a few days ago, the video I did when Biden said he had cancer, I made the argument that I believe that the only way for the Democrat Party to save themselves is to abandon Joe Biden, right? To say that, you know what, everything is his fault, this guy's out of his mind, and we need a new candidate. In fact, they should go as far as to ask Joe Biden to step down, okay? Because it is clear that with his low approval rating, including a 19% approval rating among Hispanics, okay, who, they get it, right? They get it. They understand. Hispanics get it. Yeah, it becomes clear that the Democrats and their election hopes are very dim, especially if they are trying to rely on Joe Biden, whom one Democrat strategist has basically said, quote, Biden should not be and cannot be the nominee in 2024, said one Democratic strategist who requested anonymity to speak candidly. Quote, it's obvious as day to anyone who is being objective and honest that the president is too old to be president. It's that simple. So that being said, that doesn't stop some Democrats like Ro Khanna from being delusional about Joe Biden and him running in 2024.
I have confidence in the president. I just said that to the New York Times. I respect him. I still think he's our best bet to defeat Donald Trump. I believe Donald Trump's going to be the nominee. I think he'll destroy DeSantis. We can get into that at a later time. And I think Biden is the best bet to carry the Midwest. But there are places where I disagree, obviously, with the administration on Saudi policy is one of them.
Yeah, so that guy's delusional, right? He really believes that Joe Biden is the Democrats' best bet to defeat Trump in 2024. If that is the case, then the Democrats must not have any faith whatsoever in Kamala Harris, okay? That, or they don't have any candidates at all. They have, as a party, utterly failed to have a succession plan, okay? If, you know, the current president bombs, which every party should have a succession plan if the current president is not doing good, to come out here and say, okay, well, this is our new candidate, right? This is our guy, right? But apparently the Democrats don't have that. And there's some people, particularly progressives, that are absolutely pissed at the idea of Joe Biden running again. In fact, they're just pissed at the Democrat Party in general for failing to cater to them enough. And one of those progressives is Siena Kasparian of TYT, who routinely goes off on Joe Biden and Democrats, even though she continues to vote for them. But, you know, hey, it is what it is. So I want to show you guys this absolutely beautiful meltdown that Siena Kasparian had over the idea of Joe Biden running again in 2024. Take a look.
How can any Democratic voter look at this sad, pathetic excuse for a leader and think, nailed it? Wakey, wakey, Democratic voters. All of the apologists for corporate Democrats who spend all their days on Twitter shaming anyone who dare question the leadership of these pathetic people in the Democratic Party. Wakey, wakey. This is a lifetime judgeship. It's a federal judge. It's a federal judgeship. which is why the president appoints the individual and the Senate confirms the individual. I don't know if you guys know this, might sound a little crazy. Democrats are in charge in the federal government. Why are we doing favors for turtle man Mitch McConnell? Joe Biden would be stupid to run again in 2024. He needs to sit his ass down, take his nap. Why do you want to run again in 2024? You're ineffective. You are a failure. You have failed the electorate. You have all these people showing up to vote, canvassing on your behalf, ensuring the 2 Democrats won the Senate runoff races in Georgia because you said it was so important to have that majority in the Senate. And then you turned around and did nothing for the American people. Sit down, don't run again. It would be a massive mistake. This is not an endorsement of what the Republicans are doing. I am furious that the corporate Democratic Party fearmongers about the right wing and then enables them. They enable them day in, day out. I despise these people. They all need to be primaried. They need to sit down, get the hell out of the way, and let actual leaders do the governing.
Like who? Right, which leaders in the Democrat Party? AOC? Ilhan Omar, whom idea of leadership is faking getting arrested, right? Faking getting arrested at the Supreme Court so that they can raise some money, right? That's your idea of leadership, because I don't see any leaders in the Democrat Party, okay? I don't see any at all, okay? And the thing is, for as glorious as a rant like that is against Joe Biden, it's bittersweet because when these people go on these types of rants, right, they always come at it from a progressive perspective. Well, it's that Biden's not being progressive enough. And it's like, no. Biden is running this country into the grounds because he's being too progressive, right? That's the problem. When you're talking about open borders, that's progressive. When you talk about inflation and all the money that we spent and we poured into the economy with expanded unemployment benefits, stimulus checks, stuff like that, that's progressive, right? When you talk about crime, okay, and the crime crisis, and the fact that we have these woke DAs refusing to arrest criminals, and the Democrat Party backing defunding the police, that's progressive. All that stuff is progressive. The problem with this country is too much progressive policies, but that's not the way Anna Kasparian sees it, okay? And look, the polls even back me up on this, right? Because the New York Times released a poll about why Democrats want a different candidate, why they don't want Joe Biden, and only 10% of them said that he's not progressive enough, right? Only 10% of them said it. Most of them said it's his age and his job performance, okay? With 20% of the voters saying inflation and the cost of living are the most important problems facing the country right now. Now, tell me, guys, what answers do the progressives have for inflation and the cost of living in this country? None. They don't have any, right? Their answer is, well, we need to spend more money, right? Because that's what they want Joe Biden to do. They want Joe Biden to spend more money. That's what they want, right? And spending more money is what got us in this situation in the first place, particularly when it comes to inflation, right? Again, what blows my mind about these progressives is that they get mad at Democrats, okay? And this happens every single election cycle, right? They melt down and cry and whine about the Democrats not being progressive enough. But most of the problems with the Democrats is that they're too progressive. The Democrat Party has become too progressive, right? They progressed themselves into a party of insanity, whether that be economic or social policies, right? They're too extreme. They're way too extreme. And this is why I've made the argument that if Joe Biden wants to save his presidency, he needs to basically just be a Republican, right? Just become a Republican, okay? The Republicans are going to take back the House. They're probably going to take back the Senate. They're going to be running Congress, okay? And they're going to have the ability to pass whatever bills they want throughout Congress. And Joe Biden, specifically when it comes to the issue of inflation and the border and crime, should just do whatever the Republicans want to do, right? Say, look, I would do whatever the Republicans want to do on this issue. Whatever bills y'all pass, okay, I will sign it, okay? Right? That is what he should do. Because at the very least, at that point, if those things don't work, he can say, well, it's not my fault, right? This is going to happen regardless. There's no real solution. And if they do work, he can say, well, I'm willing to work with the Republicans. I put aside the extremeness of the Democrat Party, right? The progressive who basically try to make me be more extreme than I actually am, because let's be real, Joe Biden's not a progressive. He's just forced to be progressive because that's what his party's at, right? He could just say, look, these people were too progressive. They forced me to do that, and now I'm working with Republicans. I'm going back to my old ways, right? I'm going back to my old ways. I'm going back to my days of being a blue dog Democrat back in the 80s and 90s, right? I'm going back to that Joe Biden, right? Joe Biden can save his presidency by basically pissing people off like Anna Kasparian even more and just being a Republican. Just being a Republican, right? Which, you know, having people like Joe Manchin in Congress makes it totally possible. It makes it totally possible. He'll have the votes for it and do whatever policies that Republicans want to do because the Democrats are going to abandon him. The progressives have already abandoned him. The mainstream Democrat Party, they're going to abandon him, right? That's what they're going to do, okay? They're fed up with him. They're going to throw him under the bus because that's the best way for them to save themselves. But like I said, there's an impending Democrat civil war coming up, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait to watch it as I believe that they're going to have a primary. They have to. There's no way they can run this guy. And there's no way that Joe Biden can continue to latch on to the Democrats if he wants to save his legacy. So we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.